is always going to be better as long as we do better. And that's always tough to do when you don't know how to do better. But I have my guest on the line. Please, everyone, welcome to Bridges Live channel podcast. And it's Remi. Please, thank you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. While I'm getting all this other stuff loaded up that some people can see, some people can't see. It's all this social media stuff. With this new generation, it's almost tough to do. Like you got to corral them like cats. So, how
Oh,
do you? We tell me what you do because I want to get right into it and I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So please tell everyone where you are and what you do.
sure, sure. Thank you, first of all, for having me on your show. And it's a privilege to be on your show. And I wear a few hats. I'm a mother, a wife, a professor, and an entrepreneur, formerly a former vice president with Bank of America. I was in corporate America, working 9 to 5, doing my thing, and left to be a serial entrepreneur. And I'm a community leader. So I do wear a lot of hats. And because of my passion, I constantly find myself wearing hats that I love to wear that also pay it forward and make impacts.
What do you mean about the passion? How did you? It always comes down to how does someone find their passion?
Yes. That's $1 million question, but I'm going to tell you how I believe that mine came about. Of course, all glory to God, who is my creator, who allowed me to understand the power of service, the power of service. I jokingly say I served my way to my greatness. My definition of greatness is different from everybody else's, but I know what mine is. But the ability to have a servant's hat has allowed me and enabled me to see what I like, what I don't like, and what I need to know better. So when you volunteer strategically, you will be able to align with your passion. And that's how I found my in always raising my hands when I was in corporate America, volunteering and learning things that I didn't know. With an MBA, I went in and started as a teller and left there as a vice president. So I knew I wasn't there to stay put, but to keep going. So serving your way to greatness, volunteerism. You
But
can't go wrong with that.
I think there's a piece there. You ran over like it was an easy bridge to cross. The what you ran over was not just service and not just you're willing to serve and not just willing to for your passion, but there was these bridges in between all those, and
Yes,
that had to do with self-confidence.
yes, yes.
No,
You are right.
no one taught you that. I mean, because it's tough to raise your hand in church. It's tough to raise your hand when no one's looking. It's tough to serve others if you don't feel that you're worthy to give.
You're right, and I'll break it down since you want me to go down to where people can really take the nuggets and run away with it, and I appreciate that. Of course, perseverance. I have a book called Perseverance: Winning Key to Your Destiny, and what that does is the ability to remind me of how perseverance allowed me, enabled me to do the raising of the hands. I was never somebody who liked to speak or engage with communication, but I knew that my silence was not giving me the value that I deserved in corporate America. People,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The show's over, folks. Go home. You know what? When you
so
it is it is so true. I mean, Martin Luther King, if you're going to be silent, you're complicit, right?
yes,
We just came out of that, and people are very complicit about many things. I'm talking about the smallest things to the largest things. But continue, please. You knew you wasn't going
yes.
to stay
So
silent.
that's so funny. So what in my case is rising in corporate America as a teller to vice president, hitting my goals. I knew how to work hard, love people, did what I needed to do. But people who couldn't deliver what I was delivering, they were trying to tell my story, Paul, and I didn't know what was up with that. And guess what? Because I was choosing to be silent then, but those days are over. So my ability to go and get trained with the Dale Carnegie, Les Brown,
Yeah, yeah.
getting my knowledge to be able to speak and knowing that with my voice I can help others, not just myself. And another caveat to me is the book that one of my bosses, who I thought was not for me, really was really for me. He saw so much good
He
in
saw
me.
you. He
He
saw
saw
you.
so much good, and he drilled me. Oh my God, he gave me a run for my money. And one day, one of my reviews said, "Go read this book, Remi, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman." I thought he said Daniel Coleman, so I came back the next. I said, "Tom, I couldn't find this book." He said, "Well, what book?" And I told him, he said, "No, it's Goleman." So that book has been next to my Bible, and I'll show you if only we had a minute. That book has been the real deal, the ability for me to manage my emotions, the ability for me to manage others' emotions. So I don't get easily offended, because I try not to expect too much and always have a backup and a backup and a backup, because I'm the only one that knows the journey that's ahead of me. So as you were saying, it took a lot of little steps, but those steps were done intentionally with a lot of hard work, perseverance, fun. Some days they were fun because I knew where I was going
You
and
knew
I
where you
got
were
there.
going. That's the
Yeah,
difference. You knew where you're going.
exactly.
So with that, empowering women, being that, understanding what service is, here's the tough question. Those were the easy ones. And this is not really a question, but it made me think of, because you teach it at HBCU. Let's get that out there, right?
Yes, that's okay. It's all good.
Let's get it out there. Let's get it
Yeah,
out there. So thank you for teaching our young men and women, right? And in the community, we're having a tough year. Tough, probably several couple of 100 years, but we're doing better. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We're doing okay. How do you teach that leadership for them to ask that question? Or is it the type of kids that go to HBCUs anyway that are that inquisitive?
It's a two-part answer to that question. I can't generalize that all the kids that go to HBCU will ask questions and maybe some won't. Just like personality, like I told you my story. I was never a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very unassuming. Nobody can ever put their hand on who I really am until I'm in action. Then they're wondering, ooh. So I know there are people like me who maybe will be underestimated just because they're not speaking. I know that that doesn't mean they're ignorant. It just means that's their lifestyle. So in the classroom, and I love, love, love being in the classroom. That's one of those best, newest things that have ever happened to me, being able to be in the classroom, to see the before and the after, the beginning of the semester. And by the time we finish the semester, how you see the turnaround, and the kids are saying, "Oh, Prof, it's because of you I'm really enjoying this class, or I'm taking this class." A few times we'll fight here and there,
Right.
when rules are not being adhered to, and then we'll make up. And I said, "Listen, I'm here for you. Your success is why we're here. We're not here for any other reason. I don't have to be here, but I want you to be successful." So when I break it down, I nail it down, they sit up and they get it. And I give them my little story that I'm a mother too. So I'm not really here to do you any havoc, but I need you to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
WORK, you got to do the work, not the talk. You can have all the stories and excuses, but please do the work. So eventually they come around, and they give me reasons why sometimes when they're shacking their responsibilities, and sometimes they're legitimate. Some people have issues in the family.
Right.
So many things are happening to them. So, but I still tell them, look, you won't always have someone who have listening ears. Sometimes people go by the books. So you still need to fess up to your responsibility as an individual. So I think leadership is not just something you teach, you exemplify, you act it, and you let people know what you're doing, and letting them know that you understand. But there's a line you draw where you really say, okay, now what you need to do is what you need to do.
Do you, we here, with working with the Black community, and it's a different community than most or
Mhm.
than many. I have been talking about the trauma that lies within the African American person, human being. If you have not admitted to going to get help, seeking help, going to get professional help, going to talk to somebody, just get checked out,
Mhm.
to learn to whatever it is, right? But get checked out.
Yes.
Do you think that trauma is what really holds these young people and adults so closed?
The drama, I mean, the trauma that people go through can be a caveat for closeness. It can also be a caveat for being so far apart and not being one accord. But one thing I want to say is that that ability to pray to your higher
Yeah.
supreme being,
Mhm.
because you can't do it alone. It's
You
not a
cannot be
work
by
that
yourself. You're right.
that you can call your mother, your father, your auntie to solve. Some days they don't even have the answers to their problems. So
Mhm.
it's going to have to be somebody bigger than us. But having said that, you have to be intentional. Do
Right.
your part. Prayer without works is really like nothing. So being able to know that you will do your part of that journey, finding out what are those issues and identifying with the problems you see that you have. Like in my case, I knew speaking was something that I had phobia with. I know you might say speaking is not in line with this, but that was what really gave me my comfort. That's where I got my confidence when I realized that, guess what? This is something I don't like to do and I'm afraid to do. I
Mhm.
began to find help rather than hating on people who are eloquent speakers and talking when they want to talk in meetings and I'm being silent. So same thing for those who are listening to us, especially our young leaders.
Mhm.
When there are needs, when you have situations, don't assume anybody can read your minds. And for all the elders out there, the older people,
There it is.
let's come to the level of the young ones. We always assume we have all the answers, even
I
before they ask the questions.
and I think that's where us as elders failed them.
Yes.
I think we missed it. And I talked to a group of men too, and we talk about a black man conversation called Black Coffee. And we talk about mentoring in the different organizations I belong. We talk about mentoring young men and women.
Mhm.
But first we have to admit we blew it. We
Yes.
missed it.
Yes. We could have
And
done better.
we could
Know
have
that.
done better, and I think very few of us did a lot, and very many did very few, very little.
Right.
So, and that's been the result of a lot of things. Black on black crime.
Yes.
I think that's the result
Yeah.
of black on black crime.
Yeah. There's a disconnect when
Yeah.
people don't know the directions, when people don't truly have a real shoulder to lean on, who really mean when they say go, they mean go, and come when they mean come, then it gets confusing. So at the end of the day, your word should be your bond to anyone.
Mhm.
So as they see you giving your word, they also will know that, okay, if you say, okay, Prof, I'm giving you a second chance, this is due now. I've given you a second chance. You're not going to get a third chance. It's not going to be happening. So once you give the when you set the stage and you let people know where the line is drawn, they will fess up to it.
Let me
But a
ask.
lot, yeah, go
Let
ahead.
me ask you this, Remy. With the young leaders of tomorrow, or as of today,
Mhm.
will they run for a political party that is driven by community or by profit?
I would say that because I do mentor some finest young people locally and globally, I would say that it will be by community to a
Okay.
greater extent because they like this balance of social enterprise. I wouldn't say purely profit. Sometimes we say, oh, they like money and all of that. But when you really get deep to what they like,
It's
they don't,
community.
it's not just the money, they like the community, but they want profit from that engagement. They don't want to just live all their life just
Mhm.
working and building charity when they haven't put food on the table. But I would say that the community will be the driver because they want to see the good for all. Even some people argue with me and say that can't be true. It is true. I know
Okay.
that everybody loves
What's the
money.
argument? What's the argument? I mean, you must get pushback for that statement. So what is that? What is the argument?
It's usually that, oh, with the way this I don't like to repeat
Sure.
things that I know that are not positive because these are my I love these young people to the fact that I want to only say positive things that will
But
elevate them.
Remy, and I'm going to get you. I believe you. And I do too. But often, I don't think people know that there's an argument out there. So what is that? What are those words? It's not your words. You're not giving creed to the
Right.
words. But some people don't even know that there are words.
Right. Such words as, oh, they like money and all of that. Nothing, that maybe sometimes they say, oh, they only think about themselves. Everybody thinks about themselves at some point.
Mhm.
We just have to see, are we creating a win-win?
But I think when someone makes that a statement, I think it sounds more youthful than expectations. Like once they get past 15, you don't say what you would say to them at 15, you would say to them at 20. So
Right.
I think those type of statements are, they only think about themselves. Yeah, 12-year-olds do, or 17-year-olds are,
Right.
18-year, but looking past like looking to see who they are,
Hmm.
sees them like someone saw you when you were young.
Yeah.
Someone took the time to see you. It
Yeah.
wasn't what they expected. It wasn't what they thought. It's what
Right.
they seen in you. And I
Exactly.
think as teachers, that is our biggest art to do, is to see
Yes.
them and then not see what they could do, but believe that they are going to do.
Exactly. Absolutely. You just said it so beautifully. Just believing that they all can be successful. Every single one in a class can pass the class.
Mhm.
You might not all get all A's, some might get C's, but you're going to pass. What you're putting is what you're going to get. So
Mhm.
when they have that confident assurance and they know what is expected of them, they're going to do it. And I think um, engaging with positive mindset
Mhm.
always overshadows the the pushback or um, the fight and just trying to say, who do you think you're new professor, so they're looking and everybody's trying to see how far they can go, and maybe they can push you so far. And once they know that you are there, I get there, I tell them who I am and I let them know straight up my background. I'm a mother, and I tell them the ages of the kids. I set the stage right there so that we know we're here to play ball to win. And your success is why I'm here. And everything else just falls in place like that. Being
So
intentional about what you communicate and engaging with positive mindset most of the time will get you what you expect, which is the positive results.
Remi, I'm not sure if anyone's asked you this, and I wouldn't know, and I'm going to ask you. But
Okay.
here, I want to check off a couple of things.
Okay.
You're a Black woman, check.
Check.
You're educated,
Check.
check. You're an entrepreneur,
Check.
check. You're politically informed,
Check.
check. Wait a minute, and you teach at an HBCU school, check.
Check.
What office are we getting you in to go run for? Okay,
Don't
so
go there. Let's
oh,
go.
absolutely.
Let's go celebrate the president tomorrow. I've
No,
got that
no, no.
shoes
So
on.
no, here it is. Look at that political speak. Check. Nice deflection. So what are you thinking and where are you gonna go?
A lot is happening, and I've always been someone with a servant's heart, locally, globally. So
Okay.
we'll see where that takes me. But
No,
clearly speaking,
do you have an idea?
no, not at this moment. But clearly speaking, public service is something I'm groomed and ready to do because I have a lot to offer.
What if someone got you into and said, I think we have a search for you? And would you want to be DC? You live in DC.
No, I live in Maryland. It has
Oh,
to be in Maryland.
even perfect, even perfect. So you're in Maryland, right? You
Yeah.
want to stay in your county, you're not moving, so that's easy. We can totally get you on something because I work with a group, and that's what we're looking at. We're actually looking for leaders in the community, Black, young, women, powerful, young men, but we need people to go into politics. And it's not so much to hold position, even if it's just to hold a chair to leave it open,
Yeah,
because we need more eyes on, not ears up.
that's
Because
right.
if we have eyes on, that means we're in. If we
Yeah.
have ears up, that means we're listening through the door. So we'd rather have eyes up than ears up.
You, you just hit on why it's important for no one to ever rule out that you can raise your hand to be in public service. It's a service, and there's never anything stopping anyone. But You will be the first to know when specificities are being arrived at.
Remi, I'd like to say thank you so much. Anything out there for the next leaders and developers of our next generation?
Just to say that these young leaders are looking for shoulders to lean on. They need us to be more listeners and just to make them collaborative and not just telling them all the time what to do. Of course, we know more, but they know some things too, and just leveraging with them. They teach me a lot of technology. I was never a techie person. Not that I'm still techie, but at least I can get by and do some things. So just battle what they have with what you have and let them see you as I don't want to necessarily say equal, because with the culture of elder and younger, just see them as a partner. That's the word I'm looking for. That is important to you and that you are important to. When you do that, they will do anything for you, honestly. They will go the extra miles all the time.
Thank you, Remi. You'll be back on Bridges Live sooner than you think. I'd like to say thank you, one, because you can get it all through Apple, all where you get your podcast station. And you can also see this on my YouTube channel, Dr. Paul Dyer, Grandmaster. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you again.